I'm not a cop, but I play one on my own TV. Happy Daily Blurrrrr. I'm going to try this again. I'm still having trouble with my software. I don't like that. I think I'm just going to have to roll a driver back. So, hopefully that'll fix it. Anyway, as you know, as you can see, I'm still smoking, but trying another approach in conjunction with the Sonic gum. If you're trying to stop smoking, I highly recommend Sonic gum. It's a gum that you can buy. I've found it at 7-Eleven most frequently. It's like $5 a pack. I think there's 16 pieces. I could be wrong. Might be 12. Anyway, each piece lasts me a couple of, like 2 to 3 hours. I don't remember right off what the directions say, but you chew it until it gets kind of a peppery flavor, and then you just like park it on the dance floor. Park it between your teeth and your and then you chew it again in a bit. Anyway, it's worked for me. Whenever I chew it, I don't have any cravings, and that's really, really cool. And if your craving gets really, really, really strong, you can just go to another piece. So it's not bad. It's like I said, each piece has lasted me 2 to 3 hours. I've quit for an entire day at a time. But then I give in for just stupid psychological reasons and go back to buying back. Anyway, there's a siren. Everybody stop. Bring it down. There's just music in my head, as you can tell. Anyway, today is January 31st, 2017. And today we're talking about mean people. And it's going to lead into something a bit stronger in conversation, but this kind of got started by, there's a couple of neighborhood groups that I belong to, and I'm going to go ahead and name them by name. One of them is actually a group that I started here in the Wells Branch area 2 years ago this past August. It's called the Wells Branch Melting Pot. It's online, it's a Facebook group, and it's just a neighborhood group, to talk about what's going on in the neighborhood, lost animals, things for sale, things like that. It's just a really nice little group that we can all talk about stuff going on that's private to our neighborhood. It has since grown to be over 500 people, and that's wonderful because there's, I think, about 20,000 people here in Wells Branch. And Wells Branch is an unincorporated area of Austin, Texas, north of the city. We are almost literally in Round Rock. We're like one exit on the highway away from Round Rock, Texas. So we're very far north. We have our own municipal utility district. It's a really cool, lovely area. We've lived here for 8 years. We really like it. So anyway, we have that online group. And then I'm also part of the Nextdoor app. And there's also a Google group. I don't know if I even belong to that one anymore. I've never really posted much in there, mainly because kind of going back to a Daily Blurrrrr of a few days ago or last week, something like that. A lot of the conversations are just in the way you approach them. Gee whiz. And I've been completely guilty of this myself. I will admit that, and I've worked really hard at changing that. If you come at people with, like I said, with knives, if you come at them like scissors, people are going to shut off. And so there's a conversation going on there right now about loose dogs. Not like, hey, how are you? Or, hey, sailor. I'm talking about dogs off of leashes. I'll wait. No, dogs off of leashes when you're walking especially, and kids coming home from school, if there's a dog that's gotten out of their yard, or if somebody's walking their dog and it's off the leash, we do have leash laws, they need to be on the leash because kids can be scared of loose dogs. That's just going to sound funny from now on. Not the kids part, the loose dogs. All sorts of reasons, if a dog... It's just, dogs need to be on the leash when you're walking them. That's the law, and there's a lot of good reasons. So, there was someone that commented on there, I'm not going to say her name, but they were describing a situation in which they spanked their dog. And I just cringed when I saw that. And they referred to it twice, and they referred to it as training. No, You don't spank your dog. That's not training. That is animal abuse. Period. There's no question about that. There's not any trainer around that's going to agree that spanking is any acceptable form of training. Never. Ever. You don't spank your dog. So many jokes I can make right now. Anyway, no, you just don't hit your dog to train them for anything. Ever. We have 3 dogs at the house. And each of them, with Cooper being the youngest, he's getting better every single day at minding verbal commands. Our dogs know, and Cooper's already getting really good at this. The other 2 are real good at it. They know, for instance, I cannot stand a dog to sit and stare at me when I'm eating. It drives me crazy. I don't want them near me. I don't want them around me. I just can't stand it. It's a personal thing for me, but I also don't want it to happen when we have people over to eat. I just personally don't like it. And so our dogs know that when we sit down to eat, they are not to be there. They can be in the room, but they can't be sitting there staring at your food. I love that they know that. And all I have to say, Fergie just does it automatically. She goes over and lays down. She doesn't sit there and beg. She doesn't sit there and stare. She'll go over and lay down across the room and go to sleep. Harper he'll lay down and curl up sometimes at our feet, but he knows when I say lay down and go lay down to go lay down. And Cooper, he'll come up and try to sniff the trays, but he's only 2 years old, and he's gotten tremendously better at it by the week. My camera's with me because I'm on a curving bridge. But I didn't get them to do that by hitting them. I never got any of them to obey by hitting them. Anyway, the point is you don't train your dogs by beating them into submission. And to a dog, when you hit them, no, I've never been inside a dog's head, but I've been around enough of them to know they trust you and they love you completely, with no questions asked, and they will always do that. But you don't hit them, and when you hit them, you start instilling some fear, and when you hit them regularly, when you raise a hand, they will cower because they think you're going to hit them again. You don't hit them. So I was just blown away by that. This same person on this list, the tone of her messages in the 2 messages that she had posted prior to that was just so condescending and so mean. It was just mean. And it made me just realize, especially with everything that's going on right now, there's been several mean messages on that app, on the Nextdoor app, over the period of time that I've been on there. And I've responded back to a couple of them, and I just really don't like doing that either. It's just not really my nature to be mean. It's really not. But I hate being pushed that way, because I hate that I can sometimes teeter back over into that vernacular, into that comeback, and sound so biting and sharp. And it's usually meant in a not sarcasm, but like kind of thing. But I just hate that those words can ever fall out of my mouth, because that's just not who this is inside. And I hate it. Hate it. It bothers me. Bothers me to the point of tears sometimes, because that's just not in cohesion with my soul. So anyway, it just got me thinking, everybody's kind of really tense right now. There's so much stress going on. And it made me think, over this last year, the ramp up to all of the election events and everything last year, it just seems like there are forces in play to get we the people so agitated at each other that all of this stuff that's going on now seems like that whole buildup was lubrication for what's going on now. That friction actually became lubrication. I know that sounds silly, but the lubrication was for a bigger, the bigger machine. I think that right now it is so important that the neighbors, the people that all of this arguing and stuff that's going on online between each other, everybody's got an opinion, and everybody's opinions are valid. And we have got to stop the fighting with each other. The meanness, some people are just going to be mean. But that just means that those of us who are capable of big love need to bigger love. It's always going to have to be about being bigger. It's going to have to be about loving bigger. And it can be tiring. I often tell Ed, I'm the kind of person that wants to be everybody's cheerleader. I am not going to get emotional. But sometimes being that cheerleader can be really tiring, especially when, I'm dealing with my own things, whatever those are. And to feel like there's a responsibility to, be, hey, rah, 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 can be a little daunting. So everybody, instead of falling victim to those moments where you want to lash back out, whether it's verbal or even in a feeling inside of you, take a beat and think how much better it would be, not just for yourself, but for everybody else to benefit from the opposite of how that feeling is. You know what I mean? Because when you throw love out there, whether it's for yourself or for others, even others unnamed, then there is energy that comes off of that cascades to others as well. And maybe if we just keep putting that out there, some of it will be absorbed, and start to heal some of this, because the tension that's going on with everybody right now is strangling. It's strangling everybody. We don't need that. We just don't need that. We just don't need that, Don't spank your puppies. And don't spank each other. Well, there's too much at stake for all of us. And we are better than that. We are all better than that, than the fighting and the meanness and the arguing. We're so much better than that. There's too much beauty and love and goodness to spread around to succumb to all of that. I don't want to see the hope and the joy of things that I've looked forward to all my life, and the things that other people I know have looked forward to all their life be dashed away in stupidity and greed. That's pretty. We're not taking a breath and thinking about the bigger picture for everybody. So that's my word to everybody is don't be mean, don't spank your puppies, and try to just spread some love. All right? So happy blur. Go out, keep loving each other. Bye.